Going live, and we should be live for the Steelers Depot live stream here on December 14th. Good to be back with you guys after not being around for last Monday's game because of the contest versus Washington. Let me make sure I pull up the stream on my end, and then we can talk and hang out with you guys for the next hour. Dave, Brian, and myself here to chat with you guys. Dave, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Been going over the alt. Oh, there it is.
You good?
Hold on a minute. I got some reverb there. Okay, yeah, I've been busy watching all 22.
Godspeed.
Not very enjoyable, that's for sure. So hope everybody's doing okay. Welcome to the Monday night chat. Peace and love to everybody.
Yeah, and the news that you just wrote up about an hour ago or so, Matt Filer heading to IR with that injured pec. Don't have any word on Kevin Dotson. So as Mike Adesso just asked, any word on Dotson yet? Not yet. Mike, Coach Tomlin will talk to the media tomorrow, and we'll see what happens from there. Mike Adesso starting things off with an early chat says, in all seriousness, we always thank you for your hard work, but it's after weeks like these, last two, we really get to see the engine at Steelers Depot grind. Thanks, guys, and keep killing it. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate the kind words. Again, Dave and I answering any and all of your Steelers questions for the next hour from 7 to 8 p.m. If you want to have your question be answered immediately and guaranteed to be answered, please send us a super chat and please like the stream if you have not done so yet. Start the questions off with Mutated Genome, who says, Alex, after listening to the terrible podcast today, you sounded as dejected as I ever heard you. Be honest, do you see them losing 4 of their last 5 after starting 11-0 and being one and done in the playoffs? I don't know about 4 of the last 5. Obviously, some of these games still pending are going to be tough. Cleveland, the Colts are going to be tough games as well. And one and done is certainly a possibility, but the way they're playing right now, I can't discount it. I was probably dejected, or sounded dejected more because I was tired than anything after a late night last night. But obviously,
he was real tired.
Yeah, but these last 2 games have been just, they have not even been fun to watch. I mean, not that any loss is fun to watch, and I'm sure you agree, Dave. But they've just been slogs and just like this just does not look like the same team, obviously.
Even the first half for both sides, it was ugly football. It wasn't a good football game all the way around in that first half. And then obviously we came to the realization about 3/4 of the way through the podcast this morning about the time of possession and the amount of plays. That really didn't get to see much Steelers on offense in the second half of that game.
Right.
19 total plays, something like that, and it's just look, I've seen enough Steelers losses in my time. I don't get overly, I'm not breaking stuff around here when they lose, but you would like to see a lot better football, and we definitely did not see that last night.
I agree, 100%. And guys, they're big issues that have to be corrected, and I don't know how you do it right now. Live Loyal says, Tomlin has no control of what goes on with his team. It's whatever Ben says, and that's it. We need a real OC, a real head coach. Green Bay's not wasting Rodgers' final years in the league. Come on, Colbert. So less of a question, more of a comment, and some frustration there. Mike Adesso saying if the Steelers, with the Steelers already clinching a playoff spot, which they did prior to last night's game, would it be crazy to sit Ben this week and let him rest 1 week? Yeah, I think you're still competing for so much right now. You want to at least play a home playoff game, although I really, really, really doubt they're going to get the 1 seed at this point. But I get what you're saying with the knee injury, Mike, but I don't even know if 1 week would fix it, and you got to have Ben out there.
Look, he's not on the injury report, and you would think at a minimum they'd put him on there. I know the report from Jason Lockenfora because I wrote it up yesterday. But other than him not, look, his footwork was awful in that game last night too.
Mm-hmm. Do you blame that on the knee, or do you just blame that on bad footwork? Or
look,
unknown?
I suppose I don't know for sure if it is or not the knee. All I can tell you is he's not in the injury report. Okay, mm-hmm. and you would think that they would have the obligation on the injury report with the knee if that was seriously an issue with him. Now, obviously, they did have him on the injury report the week before. We heard the report from Jay Glazer saying, he was extremely questionable for that game, yada, yada. So are we going to find out after the end of the season? Yeah, he's got to get a meniscus or whatever done. I don't know. But he's not stepping totally into throws. His footwork, like I said, the all 22 being out. I haven't gone through every play yet, but I've been through quite a few of the offensive ones already. His footwork wasn't great in that
Hmm.
game overall. So look, there is a lot wrong, with the running game, and then obviously, Ben missed some passes in that game. You obviously had some drops. He should have been able to hit Washington down the field late, when Washington had the cornerback stacked on the right side there. So there's a lot wrong overall, and just to say it's on Tomlin or Ben or who or a certain coach, that could be the furthest thing
Hmm.
from the truth.
Yeah, I'll be breaking down that pick that Ben threw, the second one intended for Washington on that play for the morning on Steelers Debo. A couple of super chats to get to. Mike Chigan, 99 cents. Thank you so much. He asked a question. Are there any Jeremy Tumans or Dan Kreiders out there? Serious question. Why not run more delays and have the Steelers been saving Gunslinger Ben for the playoff run? I know you're joking with that first question, but yeah, if you want to find next Jeremy Tuman or Dan Kreider, build yourself a time machine, go back to 2003. Why not run more delays? I mean, nothing they run works. They tried to run, I think, a draw with Connor yesterday, and I think Connor might have missed the lane, but that went nowhere, regardless of why. And so there's just no trust in that run game to run any scheme right now. And I promise you, the Steelers aren't saving any plays or any players or anything like that. They're trying to win. If they were saving somebody, they would have shown him in the Buffalo game when they were trying to come back in that one.
I don't know how many people in the chat have all 22, but boy, you turn that on and you look at the run plays, and it won't take you long to go through the first 12 or 13 of them. I think they
Hmm.
had three running plays in the second half. So you can get a good idea just in the first half alone. The blocking's atrocious on that. I mean, they can't even run counters. They tried they tried that toss to Jalen Samuels, and people say, why the hell do you want to run a toss to Jalen Samuels? Well, nothing else is working.
Yeah,
I
that's
can't
true.
I can't fault them for trying something that they
Something new.
haven't
Yeah.
done. And you have Chukwuekorfor and Eric Ebron out on the edge, and neither one of them are making a block out there.
Hmm.
So if you can't block it up, and then you have J.C. Hassenauer in there, and him trying to do a duo block with Alejandro Villanueva, that didn't go very well, and the blocking's atrocious. And if you put on the all 22 tonight and you just watch the running plays alone, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I agree. So and I don't have an answer how to solve that. I obviously, there's not much evidence it will get better. The only evidence that the run game will get better is you just can't think it gets worse. But that's a really cynical way of looking at things.
People want to know why Derek Watt played 0 snaps in that game. Well, you're down. By the time you get the
Hmm.
ball back in the third quarter, there you're down. What were you down at that point, Alex?
It was 23-7 was the biggest lead for Buffalo in that one. When the,
Right.
when they got the ball back to start the second half, it was 16-7 Buffalo.
Oh, when the Steelers got the ball the first
Yeah,
time in the second half.
correct. Because Buffalo scored on their opening drive in the
Right.
third quarter.
Right. And the Steelers tried. If they were ever going to use the fullback, it was probably going to be at that spot right there, because obviously they didn't use it in the first 13 plays there. And I guess you could kind of fault them for maybe not getting Watt in there for a couple plays there. But once you got to the second half there and you were down, and then obviously that snowballed quick, you weren't going to see Derek Watt in the game
Hmm.
at that point. I mean,
Right.
you're down more than two scores at that point.
Yeah, the only goal line situation was late in the game where they had to pass and they didn't get in. I don't think they were in anything closer than 3rd and 3 last night. And that was, I think, for one snap. And so they weren't even in short yardage situations where you would use a fullback. So, yeah, just not a lot of snaps to go around anyway. Super chat here from Faceless Man, $5 super chat. Thank you so much again. You would have your question be answered immediately and guaranteed to be answered because the chat numbers have been growing. Please send Dave and I a super chat. His question, if I can find it here, I believe this is the right one. It's like we aren't even giving Ben leverage over defenses with these play calls in personnel packages. I'm not 100% sure what you mean by not giving Ben leverage. Do you have an interpretation of that, Dave?
No, I don't understand
It's like,
what he's trying to convey there. I could just tell you that the blocking. Look, Ben has a lot of autonomy at the line of scrimmage.
mhm.
you know,
Actually, I see
and
what he says here. I had to scroll up. He says, "What's going on with the personnel package choices? I feel like it's been extremely different in contrast to earlier in the season. Why in the world is Samuels in and Claypool on the bench on third down?"
I will say this: I've already totaled up. Claypool had 3 snaps in the second half, and Jalen Samuels played a large. I think James Conner had 3 snaps in the second half. They like Jalen Samuels obviously a little bit more in the passing game than they do James Conner, so that might have had something to do with it. I don't know how dinged up James Conner may have been in that game. There was one pass protection in there, the one that Ben kind of fluttered out to Claypool kind of early in the game. James Conner didn't do a good job on pass protection there. The only other thing, look, somebody's got to sit. If you're going to put a running back and Eric Ebron in the game, then a wide receiver has got to sit. So who do you want the wide receiver to sit? James Washington's about the only reliable one you have right now, and because of the kind of the you're already keeping Ray McLeod on the sideline, so somebody's got to sit. And if James Washington's in the game, and if him and Claypool are primarily the Z receivers, well, that's going to probably wind up with Claypool sitting, right?
Right, yeah. If you want to play Washington more, it's going to come most directly at the expense of Claypool. I would say this team only had 19 snaps in the second half, so not a lot of volume for Claypool. Deontay getting inserted back in the lineup in the second half reduced some of those snaps that Claypool got in the first half. Samuels and Claypool, I get it. I mean, they could run some more 0-1 personnel. That's a possibility, but they're not tied to the hip where Samuels and Claypool snaps aren't going to be necessarily like intertwined. For Samuels playing over Connor, I would say because of the passing element that you said, maybe they just wanted to kind of ease Connor in. There was a conditioning thing with some time missed, potentially, but hard to get a read on. Obviously, I am no big Jalen Samuels fan over here.
Yeah, you know where I weigh in on
Yeah,
that.
I think we both agree. Jason Apricot also with a super chat for $1. His question is, "Hey Dave and Alex, why don't we run more play action like we ran earlier this year? It seems Ben despises to use it despite how effective it is. I don't know if they ran a lot of play action earlier in the year. I mean, maybe a little bit more. When
Not
they had
much.
more rhythm. I mean, they were doing some of the more motion stuff, so that's what you mean when you talk about play action, then point taken there. But in terms of actual play action, they have not done that for years with Ben, and I do think that's one of those things that Ben just does not like to run. A mobility thing, B, he likes to have vision on the football, work out of the gun, easier to scan, don't have your back turned to the defense when you're doing play action. So I hear you. I mean, I think they got to try to use it a little bit more because nothing else is working right now. But I don't think they were using it a whole lot to start the year, to be honest with you, Jason. Super chat here from our buddy Russ Obenstein. He says, us Tomlin coaching, or I think it's a typo, but is Tomlin coaching to protect his quarterback or to win games? And do you guys think they need to let plays develop and not hurry so much? I guess that latter part is about the quick game, but I think that's been the thing that's been working right now. Tomlin's coaching to win. This team's playing to win. I mean, obviously, when the ball's getting out of your hand quickly, you're not taking sacks, you're not taking hits. Those are things that help you win. So I don't think in that sense Tomlin is deliberately playing in a way that hurts his team to protect his quarterback. I think those things are kind of intertwined.
Look, there were probably 2 other instances Ben missed open receivers down the field. Juju was one of them on one of those throws earlier in the game where Ben forced the ball down the right hand side to James Washington, who was tightly covered on the play. If you look, Juju, I believe that was the zone coverage on that one. Juju, if he holds the ball just a half a second longer, he has Juju kind of in the middle and running up the seam against kind of I think kind of a cover 3 type situation right there. So, let's make sure we're pointing the fingers in the right directions here, folks.
Well, I think you would agree that the finger gets pointed at a lot of places, not just
a lot of
Ben.
right.
Yeah, right. Let me scroll through some of the regular chats here. ODG Dorkman, can anything be done to right the ship? Seems like the problems are multifaceted. Yeah, I think there are a lot of problems right now with the run game. I have no idea how to get it better, especially with the injuries now. I don't know if Kevin Dotton's going to play, but if he can't, then if it was me, and this is a minor thing, I guess, in the grand scope of things, I'm starting Duran Gray at left guard, not Hassenauer, if Dotson can't go, because I can't run anything interior with J.C. Hassenauer as my left guard. At least Gray's got some power and some size.
Well, the thing is, too, we've talked about in the past. Do you want your backup center in the game?
That too. Yeah.
At the same time, I was I was a big proponent of Hawkins when he entered.
Like it's, you found a way to shoehorn this into the conversation. Go ahead.
I did. Now, do I think it's going to happen? Do I think we're going to finally see Gerald Hawkins at guard? No, I do not. But how much do we know about Derwin Gray at guard? You know.
I mean, little, not much. I mean, he's never obviously played in a NFL game. All right, I get he got a couple snaps, I think, earlier this year, but yeah, there are no good options, obviously, unfortunately.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see just any moment, maybe tonight or tomorrow, them them bringing in a veteran.
That's yeah, but can you get him clear? I guess you have a month till Monday, so but is he even
Right.
going to be really ready in time,
Well,
just from a playbook?
that's true. Maybe you get somebody else's practice squad, a veteran.
Yeah.
I haven't looked around to see who that might be, but I mean, is there somebody out there with more experience than Hassenauer and Gray that you
Hmm.
could put in there at left guard that at least has some experience at left guard?
Yeah.
Uh, hindsight's 2020. You'd like to have, you know, is Wisniewski really an upgrade? Over any one of those guys. I don't know, but Hassenhauer's probably not going to be the answer. It'd be interesting to see Derwin Gray get some time there, but I'm not holding my breath there.
Hmm.
I would think though that we're going to see them get somebody in here, via the wire or something like that.
Yeah, because there's really not even any practice squad guard options. There's some tackles down there like Coyle and Jaron Jones and Brandon Walton, but I don't know if any of those guys can really guard. And obviously, none of those guys have played an NFL game before. Destani Collins says, at this point, do you feel the offense is incapable or unwilling to change? If Ben is indeed dealing with an injury, there's still no creativity to help him and the boys out. Yes, I mean, to help Ben out, if we accept the premise of the injury bothering him, would be some sort of run game. And having a more rhythmic offense that stays on schedule, isn't struggling so much on possession downs. And there is no run game right now. And they want to change, obviously. I just think that's more the incapable. I don't know what the solutions are at this point. I mean, do you have any ideas about how to get this offense back on track, Dave?
Just got to hammer out that run aspect of it, and Ben's going to have to be more conscious of trying to let things develop down the field. You've got to get some semblance of a deep passing game in here somehow, some way, and you got to start hitting with it too. Either pass interference, drawing a pass
Hmm.
interference, or connecting on that. And they had one explosive play we talked about this morning on the podcast. You're not going to win games with just one explosive play. Period.
Yeah.
We kind of figured going into this game they needed probably 5 or 6. In total, and that if they would have had that, they probably would have won the game because they obviously had a couple of turnovers in that as well too, and the +2 talk stat says just that 80% of the teams that win the talk stat +2 or more win the game 80% of the time. So you already had a couple of turnovers in that game. Well, where are you going to make the rest of it up in the talk stat there? And that's going to be the explosive play. And people keep talking about change play callers and all like that. What? Okay, let's say you let somebody else call plays. What do you think? What plays do you think they're going
Hmm.
to call?
Yeah.
You don't have people think they have all this time that you're going to just sit in there and you're going to design all these new plays and all like that. At this, this point of the season, you are what your playbook is right now.
Hmm.
Period. You obviously can mess around with some formations and some motions and stuff like that. But people that are hollering for a new offensive coordinator or for Matt Canada to come in, I don't know what you people really think is going to happen if you did that.
Yeah, I totally hear that. And I think to your larger point, the Steelers, the Super Bowl winning teams, best teams of the Colbert era, while they've generally been focused around run game and defense and Ben himself, they've always had that deep ball component, whether that was Nate Washington, even a little bit of Cedric Wilson in '05, whether that was Mike Wallace, whether that was Martavis Bryant, or whoever the case was. You had that vertical component that would expand the defense vertically. And while you have some talent at receiver, obviously you're not getting the deep ball going right now. You don't have that vertical component, and without that, I mean, this offense cannot be where it needs to be. get back to the super chats here. There's one from Tim Ray. Thank you, Tim, for the $5 super chat. He says, when charting plays that involve motion, would you record the receiver alignment that occurs before the motion, after the motion, or both, 2x2, 3x1, etc.? I know our Tom Mead does the charting for us, so I'm not the person in charge of that, so I'd have to get in touch with Tom and how he charts the motion. Do you know exactly how he does it, Dave?
He'll put an M in there where the receiver lines up at the snap of the football is what goes into the charting. But there is a letter, whether or not it was a settled motion or whether it was not, whether a motion at the snap of the football in there. Okay. So where the player actually was at in the formation at the time of the snap of the football is how he's charted in our charting. But once again, we have a lettering system in there, and he's kind of revised that this year that has whether or not it was whether or not the player came to rest after a motion or whether or not the player was in motion at the snap of the football.
Gotcha. Okay, so it just designates the motion. I thought that's how we did it.
Right. If you ever want to filter that, Alex, all you have to do is just filter it with type an M in there, and it'll filter it down with just the plays that in motion. Now there's that little bit of gray areas sometimes of that kind of that slow shuffle at the end of the motion. Whether or not he was truly settled and all like that. I tend to think of in motion of being really in motion,
At some level of speed, not just settling in. Yeah. Mark Leslie, is this team just run down, tired, hurting? Has it just been too much? If that's the case, not much chance of it getting better. I mean, I'm sure so there's some element of that. Of course, we can go back and cry over the spilt milk of the week 4 bye week and the crazy schedule and all the changes and things like that. But, I mean, they're not going to use that as an excuse. I'm not going to use that as an excuse. This team can play a whole lot better than it has. I know there's injuries. I know there's tired bodies out there, but a lot of guys are tired. It's week 14 going to week 15 in the NFL. Everyone's tired. I mean, that's just par for the course. Eli Mullen, should we start Kevin Dotson when he comes back? Running game immediately got better when he came in. I mean, it did, I guess, but I don't think it really got a whole lot better. And obviously, he ended up exiting in that one as well. So, I mean, if Hyler's out the rest of the regular season, so if Dotson can come back before then he'll start, obviously, at left guard. And if not, then, I guess they're going to go with Hassenauer or Gray or someone else.
Well, I'll tell you who's not starting at left guard for the next couple of weeks. That's Matt Filer.
Yeah.
So you just keep your fingers crossed that that Dotson's healthy enough either Monday or the week after. I guess the good news is he hasn't gone to IR today. Not saying that can't happen by the end of the week. Obviously, but yeah, I think that's some semblance maybe of optimism there when it comes to Dotson. So, I mean, obviously, if he's healthy enough and can play, he's going to be your left guard at this point and give you a little bit of a glimpse into the future of what you're looking at next year at that point.
Yeah, because as you said, and I agree, he'll be very likely your starting left guard next season.
Right, and we don't know the severity still. I mean, Filer, with this new IR rule, I mean, will he be healthy enough, at the start of the playoffs? We just don't know that. If he's not, has Matt Filer played his last game played his last snap in the uniform, his Steelers uniform? There's a possibility we've seen that happen too. We just don't know yet.
Yep. Jason Apricot, too much empty on tape. Yes, they can almost score at will, but they need to find another dominant formation. I mean, I'm just trying to find any formation that works right now. I mean, empty's been one of the only successful groupings, and I think maybe you start going back to some of that 0-1 personnel that they ran against Baltimore in the second half, just to try to get your weapons out there. And I don't know. It feels like that's the thing that's working. It's not ideal, but nothing right now is ideal. MW
putting Eric Ebron on the end of the line of scrimmage is not something that you want to continue to see a lot of, and really for McDonald either.
MW, no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to read the next question here. MW, I've never heard of a finesse linebacker, but Avery Williamson is one. I heard a physical, slow, fast, stumper, and cerebral, but not finesse. Marcus Allen seems better from I could see comments. I think Williamson actually played pretty well. Overall, I thought there were some communication issues with the blitzing in the second half, but Williamson led the team in tackles. I thought he was physical. I thought he had hit power, got guys on the ground. I would probably disagree with that assessment, MW.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I've been concentrating mostly on the offense so far since the all-22's out. what Avery Williams is not going to go to the Pro Bowl
Hmm.
because of his play Sunday night. But I thought overall, especially against the run, and as far as him being kind of sure tackler, I thought he was fine in that area. Now, was there some, could he been better in coverage and or along those lines? Yeah, yeah, probably. But look, don't get used to seeing Avery Williamson in a Steelers uniform.
Yeah, hopefully Vince can come back for Monday. Not guaranteed, but that will give them some options. Obviously, Williamson's still probably going to play a whole lot, but maybe that at least gives his team a little bit more flexibility.
And
Uh,
well, what I meant by that comment is past this year because
yeah,
he's obviously a free
free
agent
agent.
after this
Yeah,
year.
yeah. No, I agree with you. And Loom '07 are the screen game failures and the run game failures related in any way? Hard to blame the run game on Randy, but every screenplay seems to be sniffed out. Yeah, I mean they are among the worst, running back, tight end screen teams in all of football, and that was shown again with some of the screens to Samuels. They tried to run a middle screen to Vance McDonald that failed miserably. Are they related? Uh, it's hard to tell. I my first gut is no, they're not necessarily related. But Dave, what do you think?
I'm thankful they only usually run one tight end screen a game and one running back screen a game, if that. I don't think we did they run the run. I don't think they run. Did they run the running back screen yesterday? I know they tried to run the tight end screen to Vance
Hmm.
McDonald, and that obviously that hasn't worked in
Yeah.
a while. I don't remember them running a running back screen. Do
I don't know
you?
if they did either, but sometimes they'll try to run it and it fails, and so they
Blows
just
up. Yeah.
Ben throw like the throw on third down to Juju that he dropped against Washington was like a running back screen, and Ben just said that's not working. So, part of me thinks that they just don't really sell it well. The tackles don't usually get in good enough pass sets, and they're just not really sold well enough. And linemen have trouble getting in the second level, getting in space, making plays. So, I think that's kind of more of the issue, more of a fundamental schematic, just on its face. They just can't run screens well.
Their wide receiver screens seem to work okay if a wide receiver catches
Hmm.
it, but
Yeah.
you get 6 or 7 yards out of that. That's a nice run game alternative.
Yep. MW was asking about Marcus Allen in addition to Avery Williamson. I thought Allen looked good. UG3 looked okay. It was fewer snaps for him, so I didn't get a really good gauge of how good Gilbert did. Just happy to at least have him back in the fold and give this team some support at inside linebacker with the injuries to Spillane and Williams on COVID.
Like it or not, Williams is going to be in there until until unless he gets hurt because UG3 just does not have the experience in there. And Marcus Allen just making a transition and all like that as well too. So I mean, assuming Vince Williams, and we don't even know if Vince Williams is going to make it back this week, but if he does, then I'm not even sure if Vince wears a green dot. We'll see. I have a feeling that it would be Avery Williamson
Hmm.
again, but as long as Avery Williamson's not injured, and it's going to be obviously a couple more weeks before Robert Spillane gets back. Like it or not, get used to seeing Avery Williamson on the field and probably wearing the green dot. And then, obviously after this season, he'll probably be gone.
Yeah, as you said with Vince Williams, he does appear to be symptomatic based on what he tweeted, and so that usually will take more time to clear, and so there's no guarantee he'll be ready for Monday, but we'll keep you posted throughout the week. Had a question here from Mark Leslie. Let me try to find it again. He said, "We all know the issues right now with this team, and you both said you don't know how to fix it. My question is simply, do you think we'll be able to fix it by the playoffs?" I would hope so with time and maybe getting some guys back healthy, but as we sit here today. I mean, there's nothing that tells me this team's on the cusp of figuring out their issues.
Look, you need to do you got the Bengals coming up, and you got a full week of preparation to there. If you can't get it straight against them, who are you going to get it straight against?
Hmm.
So it's time to build up a little bit of confidence and maybe do a few things. Maybe try just a few different things. Maybe break out that four wide receiver grouping again and do something like that. But I'd get away from running. Here's what I would get away from. I'd get away from having two tight ends on the field and running out of that. If I'm going to use one tight end on the field, the problem is if you only put Vance McDonald out there and you only run out of that, well then there's a key of that thing,
Hmm.
there. And if you put Eric Ebron on the field and you try to run out of him being at the inner line of scrimmage, well then you get what you get there, which is a pile of crap.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it for sure. Saw a question here I wanted to get to. This is, I think I know where both our answers are going to be on this one, Dave. But John Poling says, "What do you think of having Derek Watt in the backfield with Connor and Vance at tight end instead of Ebron? I think this offense needs big plays. I think they need splash plays. Obviously, you want to run the football better as well. But I think it depends on the situation, John. But I want this offense to create bigger splash plays, and I don't know if having Connor or having Watt and Vance is going to really accomplish that too much.
Well, you put a fullback back there and you put a tight end on the inner line of scrimmage like that, you're already having problems with spacing and getting holes anyway with the amount of people in the box, even when you're running 11 personnel. So,
Hmm.
if you collapse that down and you start inviting, look, those safeties for Buffalo just played downhill all night, you know.
Hmm.
Played in the alley, and you'll see a couple instances there where the safety just rolling on downhill and fills the alley, and there's nothing there on that. So, okay, you put Derek Watt in for a play or two, and you get 7 or 8 yards. All right, fine. How many plays are you expecting Derek Watt to play, unless you're late in the game? The only time you should probably start seeing Derek Watt in a game uh, more than 4 or 5 snaps a game would be if you have the lead late in the ball game and you're trying to both kill the clock and eat up some yardage at the same time. Other than that, I mean, I don't see how you get Derek Watt snaps in the game unless it's a goal line, goal to go situation.
Yeah, unless it's your 4 minute offense. I mean, and Watt has not. I mean, Watt has not played well whenever he's been in there anyway. I don't know if it's been terrible, but it's not like the run game is amazing when 44 enters the game. I had a question here from Austin. He says, "Do you believe that Ben might have an issue with his knee?" There was a report from Jason Lockenfora that said as much. There was a noticeable limp at points throughout the game, and some of his throws were unusually off. Yeah, I think his knee's legitimately hurting, but am I going to use that as the excuse for his poor play? I mean, I'm not. I mean, Ben's played hurt before, and that's kind of par for the course with him. So I'm sure it is an issue, but he's out there, he's playing. As you said, Dave's not on the injury report, so he just got to play better. Let's find some more questions here. Trying to scroll through again. Please like the chat as well. That gets more people in here asking more questions, and send a super chat if you guys would like as well. Zach Kopelman, I understand it is unlikely to happen, but if Fichtner is let go, who are realistic candidates you could see coming in outside of the guys within the organization? I have no idea, Zach. I think you would do an in-house thing with Matt Canada. I don't think you're going to go out of house for any sort of hypothetical you're talking about. MW, what's the deal with Vince? He tweeted he started feeling under the weather. Yeah, that really sucks for Vince. I hope he gets better. It does seem like he's got some symptoms, and so we'll see if he gets cleared for Monday. But obviously, his health is most important right now. Let's see. Steelers is the worst 11-2 team ever, but can still win the Super Bowl. I hope so. Do you think firing offensive coordinator will fix their offensive issues? No, I don't. I think they run a lot deeper than just the OC. David O. Start of season seemed like Steelers used a lot of tackle eligible players since injury seemed let me try to read this again. Start of the season seemed like Steelers used a lot of tackle eligible plays since injuries seems to have tailed off. Am I imagining things? I'll have to check our charting from Tom on that, David. Obviously, the injuries have played a role. I think just trying to run tight and run heavy has not been really effective. It limits your pass game options all the more. So I'll have to check the charting on that, though, David.
Yeah, once again, you put one of those guys on the field, somebody else has got to come off, and a lot of times when you're putting a guy in that end, it's normally as a third tight end, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
I've seen I've seen enough of that the last couple of years, man. Spread them out, go. Let's just spread them out and go.
Ryan W. Ben has publicly said he doesn't like using play action and is one of those things that this offense could absolutely use more of. One of the biggest plays last night came off of play action. Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's something that I would like them to use more. I think the knee injury there and Ben's lack of mobility is probably one reason why they don't. I don't think Ben's a big fan of it, as you said, Ryan. But at this point, it's I'm not worried about what guys don't do and don't like. I don't like the product I'm seeing out there, and so I think you got to do something different. Mark Leslie, go Ravens tonight, I guess. Yeah, root for the Ravens. The Steelers could not clinch the AFC North if the Browns lose tonight, but if they beat the Bengals on Monday night and the Browns lose tonight, the Steelers will clinch the division. Am I correct on that, Dave?
Yeah, didn't they win or tie? I think against the Bengals.
Okay,
Not
win
that
or
we're
tie.
not that that's something that we think's
Rooting for the tie
it is.
against the
Yeah,
Bengals. Feel
yeah.
like a loss.
And look, I got to be honest with you. As bad at football as we've seen, last night, I'm kind of looking forward to watching this game tonight
Who did
to
you
see.
pick? Did you pick the Ravens or the
I
Browns?
think I had Baltimore. Yeah, yeah.
I picked Baltimore too. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So we'll be definitely watching that one.
I want to
John,
see a team that can run the football.
yeah, that's illegal. John Knox, do you think Tomlin has given Ben too much control over the offense? No, Ben's a Hall of Fame franchise quarterback. I mean, for people that hate Randy Fichtner, do you want Fichtner to have more control over the offense? Like I don't know what direction you want to go here. So no, Ben has, I think, a very appropriate control over the offense, which is to say he's got a lot of control, but that's what all the star quarterbacks do. They get to run their offense. Let's see. Would you rest Ben against the Bengals? No, I would not. Because does anyone want to see Mason Rudolph out there? I don't. I want to beat the Bengals. ODG Dorkman, is it coaching if you started 11-0? I'm not sure if that is a compliment of the coaching or a criticism of the coaching. Coaching matters in every single game, win or loss. We can't pick and choose when we blame, when we give credit to the coaching staff. Desmond Barnes, do you think they will draft a quarterback in the draft? Dave, I know you were pretty much against the idea. Has your mind been changed at all?
I don't think they will. Obviously a lot can happen between now and the end of the season, right? But let's not take old Yeller out back just yet and shoot him.
Right. Yeah, that was a point that I was going to tweet out, and I've made I know to you, I think, on the podcast that back in 2017 against the Jaguars, 5 interception game, everyone thinks Ben's over, Ben's doing the whole lamenting himself kind of thing, and then he bounces back. So if you can get a run game that is just somewhat existent, not completely invisible, and some receivers who catch the passes, not that Ben would have been playing at a superstar level, but he'd be playing a whole lot better right now. So there's some context there that I think is worth mentioning.
I'll still be, like I said, things can change obviously in the next couple weeks. But right now, I'd still be surprised they draft a quarterback. To be honest
Yeah.
with you.
MW talking about options on Connor last night. Looks like he started out okay, but then stalling in the backfield. I mean, it was a bad performance for him for the run game. Connor 10 carries, 18 yards, and a fumble that luckily Juju fell on. So pretty rough night there for James Conner. Maybe the fumble got him benched. Maybe that's why Connor didn't play much in the second half of that one.
Yeah, it was probably one of his better runs too. If he had to hold on to the football,
Right. Right. I mean, I guess if Tomlin's going to have the mantra of, drops will get you benched, then I guess fumbles are definitely going to get you benched. It's all about ball security and taking care of the football. Let's see here. From Austin, the lack of adjustments was glaring compared to Buffalo coming out of the half. Looked like we changed nothing. Not sure what the deal is there. Yeah, had the article just flashed.
More so on defensive side of football than anything was the biggest thing. I mean, what would you expect them to adjust on the offensive side of football?
Right, right. But I think that might be what he's saying here, Austin, is about the defense, the lack of adjustments there, and they brought out some pressure. Although they did not blitz as much in the second half as the first half. The number surprised me when I ran our charting. There were definitely some checks in the blitzes based on personnel groupings that Buffalo was using, but they actually blitzed at a lower rate, but still overall blitzed about 60% for the game. And Josh Allen did a great job handling the blitz, getting the ball out of his hand quicker, extending the play, moving to his right, and things like that in the second half. So Buffalo did a much better job adjusting, of course.
Now, let me ask you: are your percentages off of total plays, or are your percentages off of dropbacks?
Just pass plays. Yeah,
okay.
This is not counting. I filtered out the run plays. These are just blitzes on passes.
All right.
So there you
go. They blitzed too much in the second half. Period.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah, for sure. And there was some communication stuff too. Knox was popping out, and guys wouldn't pick him up. Destani Collins, after seeing the defense come out with these strong, dominant starts, do you feel they may grow frustrated with the offense's inability to produce? I don't think they focus on that a whole lot. I think they're frustrated with their own problems and their own second half issues right now. So they're maybe in a moment, maybe some frustration with that, with a turnover and offense not scoring. But I think their focus is on taking care of the stuff they have to take care of because they're failing in key areas as well.
Look, if they didn't get frustrated, nothing's going to meet the level of frustration they probably had last season.
That's
after
true.
Ben went down there. But I guess technically, you give up pick six. They gave up what they give up, like 19 points. I guess technically the defense gave up. So that's 2 more points than they should have gave up, and even that wouldn't have been enough to win. So.
Yeah.
You hear Keith Butler all the time talk about 16 or 17 points is the goal every week. So they gave up more than that. So
Pittman, Alex, you don't think the Steelers can beat the Bengals without Ben? I think they could, but do you want to find out? And if you don't, then no. I mean, could they? Sure, but I don't want to find out if Mason Rudolph can beat the Bengals. Last time he played
I,
the Bengals, it didn't go too well.
look, you need him in there to help try to get some of this junk worked out. I don't think you accomplish anything by just resting him.
Right, right. JP Fitta, how do we fix this O-line in the offseason? That's a good question. A lot of tough decisions there. This line probably is going to look fairly different with Filer free agent to be, Villanueva free agent to be, snap with a core for, Pouncey to cash another year older. So I think you draft somebody.
Is Banner going to be your week one left tackle possibly?
Left tackle. Oh, I think at the worst you put
Or
a core
four?
to left tackle. Yeah, and Banner at right. You just got to find someone. What I'm looking for in a lineman is just a good athlete with some power. If he's raw and some technique stuff needs to be worked on, fine. I can live with that. But they need somebody that can move a little bit. Combo blocks, screenplays, and has some nasty physicality to him. That's the biggest thing I'm looking for. Someone with some physicality, some nasty to him, but an athlete as well to a lesser extent. So that's what I'm looking for in an offensive lineman in the draft. MW, is it time to give Smallwood, Dion, or practice squad player a chance? I know we're throwing a lot at the wall here and seeing what sticks. I don't know if Wendell Smallwood is saving the day too much and got a lot of receiver talent. I don't know if Dion Kane's going to, do you want Chase Claypool to not play because Dion Kane's playing over him? I just don't think that's the route there. Let's see. Can we say it's time we get a big explosive running back? Yeah, I think that's certainly part of the equation as well. I think they'll draft a running back. I'm pretty confident in that. We'll just see how high and who it ends up being.
As long as it ain't first round.
Yeah. I think day two is certainly a possibility. I'm trying to find some more questions here from you guys. Mr. ABS, what is the bounce back for Ben? Stats, yes, but we haven't been Super Bowl contenders since 2011. He's still a wily vet, but not better as he's aged. He has been good enough to keep us afloat. I think we forget about some of the really good plays that Ben was making prior to the Ravens game. It's fair to criticize him right now, but Ben is the reason why this team is even 11-2 in the first place. That and the defense, of course. So I don't want to completely discredit or not recognize what Ben had been doing for large portions of the season.
And in these last two games, even he hasn't been bad with his ball placement and all like that. Now you have the 7-8 whatever drops there was in that game against Washington. That's obviously going to kill you. The fact that he's not pushing the football down the field enough, is another trouble. Look, if he doesn't get single high, he doesn't tend to want to go down the field.
Mm-hmm.
And I look forward to watch to your break. What about the early ball down the right hand? Or maybe it wasn't so early, but the one down to Chase Claypool down the right side there. That's obviously a tough catch, but a catch that we've seen Claypool make not only in the Steelers uniform but at Notre Dame as well too. There, so. He's just got to push the football down the field more. And I think in the two games prior, now obviously I don't think he played a good game at all, obviously against Buffalo. But I thought the two games before that he played good enough for them to win.
Yeah, I think the issue, obviously you want to get a more vertical game going, but it's just not working right now. And teams are daring Pittsburgh to throw deep because the only thing that's really killed defenses is the quick game. To sum up what my article for tomorrow is going to be is basically on that play, it's 3rd and 2. Buffalo's taking away the quick game by dropping some of their pass rushers in the coverage to take away Juju and Deontay Short. And they're letting Washington single up. The safety's rotated to the other side of the field, and they're saying, we dare you to beat us deep, and the Steelers cannot do it. So, yes, I want to get the vertical game working more, but I want to get it working more effectively, more efficiently, and I don't know how to do that right now.
Well, Washington had him stacked.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Washington's fault, but Ben threw a really terrible pass. How does Ben get back on track? And I don't know the answer to that.
Right, and people say, well, he got his timing wasn't any more off looking off that safety than what we've seen him do the rest of the year. People are just trying to make an excuse for that. There's no reason he knew what he had on that side. He knew. Look, you look at we didn't even need the all 22 to if you look at the dots, that was in the game pass as well too, and just look at the play just on the measly dots, you can see where that safety is in that. So a quick glance over to the left-hand side, he knew what he had over there on the with James Washington on that right side.
Hmm.
Get the ball out. I mean, the route combination on the left side doesn't look like it was anything substantial that was really in play, especially with them dropping people, right? So I mean, Ben took that quick look to the left. He had to know right away that he wasn't going to the left-hand side.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying now. The defense's philosophies are take away the quick game, force anything else. Force the run, force the deep ball, because Pittsburgh can't beat us that way, or we're going to dare them to beat us that way.
And they literally did dare him to hit Washington over the top on that, and Washington had him stacked. That should have been a home run touchdown right there, plain in the story.
Right, but until they start hitting that, defenses will just keep playing them the same way and say,
sure.
we dare you to beat us. And that's the overall point I'm trying to make. It's just, how do you fix that? I mean, how do you fix Ben on the deep ball? Because no longer can we talk about chemistry or lack of an offseason. We're in week 14, week 15 right now, and it really has, if anything, it's gotten worse.
I mean, you can't put that on an offensive coordinator or a coach or anything like that. That's something the quarterback's got to figure out, man.
Right. And I don't know how to do that. Just other than just inertia. And I mean, you trust and you hope that Ben can get back to it, but until that time comes, I mean, that's how defenses are going to play. Because as you said, the deep ball to Claypool right side. I mean, that there's no big place to this offense, or to scaring defenses and how they dictate coverage.
You just you got yourself now, or you just kind of hope for the pass interference call.
Yeah, run the old Flacco offense. All right, let's get back to the questions here. Let me try to find one. Jeremy Bennett, sorry if this has already been asked, answered. Why is this team consistently inconsistent in run blocking? A couple of plays where Corfor and Dotson got thrown out of the club. I would say they're consistently bad. They're just not physical enough. And whether that's a pad level thing or just, being able to sustain blocks, a hand placement kind of thing, it's hard to really dial down. But they're just not a really strong physical team up front.
Look at that counter that they try to run. What first play of the game, second play of the game, the first or second running play that they had. Just awful, absolutely awful.
Did you watch a play back on Dotson getting thrown out of the club, as Jeremy references? Because I have not watched that one back. Have you? Did you go back and look at that one?
I did watch it. Yeah, he got rocked backwards pretty good.
Did he step on someone's foot, or did he just literally get pancaked?
I didn't look. I was just trying to fly through as many plays as I could real quick, just to get an end zone view on just how bad it was as a whole. So.
And it was as bad as you were. As it was live.
It's even worse. I mean, we talk all the time. Sometimes you watch the TV angle and you can't really get a good sense of offensive line or defensive line play. But boy, you turn that camera around and get behind it or on top of it, and you can really, really tell what's going on. And you haven't been through much of it yet, have you? Get ready.
Quarter.
It's awful. I mean, it's bad.
Yeah, my day was. I've been watching the defense charting, but I haven't really gotten to the all-22 yet. Mr. ABS, why not switch it up and send Juju long and some of the bigger guys short over the middle? Yeah, I think Juju's route tree probably needs to expand some. He did get a little bit more vertical against the Bills, but only 3 games this year with averaging over 10 yards per catch, and 2 of those 3 came in the first, I think, 3 weeks of the season. So, I know Juju's been the safety valve and a security guy over the middle of the field, and he makes a lot of hay there, but I think you do have to try to find ways to get him to diversify his route tree instead of just being the 5-yard, running back route tree kind of guy.
Well, they tried to send him. They tried to send him a little bit deeper last night. Ben missed him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. They just can't hit the deep ball.
I mean, not missed him. He didn't even throw to him.
He didn't even miss. Oh, okay. Yeah. Right. Well, he was open.
That was that cover 3. Okay. I'll put it up on my Twitter feed there, I think.
Yeah, I've been trying to get this charting hammered out, so I probably just missed it on Twitter. But yeah, I mean, they did. Yeah, like I said, they did get Juju more vertical, but hopefully that continues. And Ben's obviously got to see it, and he's got to be able to hit those things. Fietner's in the last year of his contract. You think he's back next year? Yeah, I think that Fietner's still going to be the OC as long as Ben is the quarterback, at least. The Josh Allen's comments before the game about them do all the talking, dancing, and we do all the work to me sound like a shot taken. Yeah, obviously Buffalo, and I have the article up right now. Multiple players recognize that, and I don't really care about Juju's TikTok too much, and I think we make too much out of it most of the time. But I don't want Juju dancing on logos, right, 20 minutes before kickoff. I just don't think that's the right thing to
Yeah,
do. It just
I
feels
could do
feels a fire.
without that. Yeah, I could
Yeah.
do without
They
that.
tried to do it in the Cowboys game too, mid game with a celebration, and just I don't know, just unneeded. And obviously now the team's losing. Hopefully that stuff kind of goes by the wayside. Again, TikTok, I don't care about him doing TikTok during the week. Like that's fine. People get mad about it, but I don't get mad about it. But that kind of stuff, dancing on logos, I'll pass on that. Troy, Pap, what has changed the most offensively since last season? I don't know if you're asking about what changed positively or negatively, but obviously the Ben is here. And the results were good for most of the season. The last 3 weeks, though, under 20 points. And so that has been the biggest change from the start of the year to now. K. Jackson, Pittsburgh, do you believe that the offense lacks imagination and creativity? I mean, those are very vague, catch-all kind of things that we usually just put to any offense that's struggling right now. I think there's obviously some truth to that. The menu of things that are working right now is really, really small. It's really just been the quick pass game, and even that has not been as effective. And so when you're having these big issues with no run game, can't stay on schedule, I think that does probably limit some of the imagination and creativity things that you would like to do in a perfect world.
Well, look, you had how many plays did we say they ran? 6 plays in the third quarter, right?
Yeah, I mean 19 plays in the second half was the number I think you had.
Right, 19 in the second half and 6 of them in the third quarter. If you're not converting third downs, how in the hell are you supposed to even, you know, uh, you had 2 drops on third. Let's see, it was your first third down of the game. Claypool gets knocked on his butt right off the line of scrimmage. So
Mm-hmm.
that takes. Then Ben turns around and tries to force the ball over to Deontay Johnson. You had 2 other drops on third downs. Is that imagination fault right there? I mean, are you going to blame offensive imagination for drops?
Mm-hmm.
Something you've had a lot of the last couple weeks, and then didn't they went deep on a couple of third downs, right? And didn't connect. I mean, if you're not connecting on third downs, if you go 1 for 10, I don't care how imaginative you are. You got at some point you got to make a play on some third downs there, and you throw on top of it that they can't run the football at all right now. I mean, they had how many offensive plays in total last night?
55.
40. Was it that many offensive plays?
I think
57, or how many was it total?
it was the mid 50s,
Okay,
but in the second half it was 19 plays.
57.
57. Okay. Yeah, I mean
You throw a pick 6 in there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I do think Peter's done a good job with some of the constraint plays of, you hit the out several times and you hit the double move on the out and up, but you have to have the out work first. You got to hit that out a couple times to get defenses to bite on it. And when you're not really getting any success on offense and you're not getting a rhythm and not putting a drive together, it's hard to really set something else up. So I think until you get to that first point of getting the basic stuff working to entice a defense, it's hard to really run stuff off of that.
Yeah, you got to put some sort of. 3 plays, doesn't give you much time to do much.
Yeah, I mean they ran 3 plays in the last 12 minutes of that game. So I mean, nothing you can do about that.
When's the last time that happened?
Yeah, I really don't even want to find out. Get down that rabbit hole. Chad Weiss, how much of the run game struggles have to do with Ebron? Is his blocking a bigger problem than his drops? I don't want to put all of it on Ebron. Obviously, Ebron is not a good blocker, and he's not helping matters. But I'm not. I didn't go into the season thinking if Ebron can't block, we're screwed, because I kind of knew Ebron was not going to block that much. I need my offensive line to block, and Ebron to make plays in the pass game, and neither of those things are really happening consistently enough right now.
He's not good.
He tries. He does try. I just whatever that's worth, probably not much, but he is not very good at it. Mark Leslie, at this point, I'll stop encouraging Alex to put his money on us to win it all. That's a fair point, Mark. Jordan Mid, the real issue is a lack of run game. Everyone knows who he's throwing every play. Let's see. Pitman, BJ Finney is with the bungle. Yeah, he got traded in the Carlos Dunlap deal. I don't know if he's really played much this year.
He was inactive. He was inactive yesterday.
Welcome back, BJ. BJ Finney going to be a Steeler in 2021?
I already put that on Twitter.
Yeah, I know you have. Why I'm throwing you a softball here.
Yeah.
I think he will be. I think he will be.
I think he will be too for the minimum. Why wouldn't you bring him back at least? I'm not saying he makes the 53, but I damn sure have him in there pushing for a spot.
Mm-hmm. Junior Zavatin
I
did,
damn sure would like to have him at left guard right now. He's some
yeah,
of his best games have been at left guard.
right. And gets the Chiefs. Somehow he finds a way to start against the Chiefs. Did you see the Filer block on the play? He got injured. He was blocking the same guy. Then Pouncey missed the block, fell down, and Edmonds came from the second level and tackled the running back. Yeah, I saw him fall down. I think it was just combo blocking to start, but I don't know at what point he got hurt that maybe caused him to fall. But yeah,
I had that clip in the doctor. I think in the Doctor Mail post, right?
okay, yeah, yeah. I was just trying to remember that. I did see that, but I'm trying to remember back to that play specifically. But yeah, well, he's done for the season, for the regular season at least. A couple more questions here before we wrap up today's stream. Is it too late to have the Colts game flexed? I don't know. I don't think it's too late, but I really don't know that flexible stuff.
They just did something with the schedule today for the next because you got to do it certain so many days out,
Right.
and the schedule. Let's see. NFL announced the schedule changes for Week 15 and Week
Oh,
16,
there you go.
and so that's done. So
No flex.
no flex for the Colts game.
Rob Coe, if the Steelers lose in the first round, Tomlin will be 3-6 in the playoffs in previous 10 seasons. Yeah, I think to kind of bounce off that stat here, Rob, quickly, I forget exactly the thing I had on Twitter, but the Steelers, Tomlin had a 700 win percentage in the month of December from 2007 to 2017. Since then, he's gone 5 for 8 in the month of December from 2018 to present. So usually the Steelers team has been really good about finishing strong, even in some of the bad years like 2012, 2013, where they got off to really bad starts. They finished strong. The last couple of years, last 3 years, this team has not played well down the stretch. Even last year, where they were 8-5, and you know things just kind of fell apart. Let's see, a couple more questions. Actually, I don't have any more questions
I think
left.
we can forget about Ben being comeback player of the year. I think we can forget about Ben being NFL MVP. I think we can forget about Mike Tomlin being coach of the year now. I think TJ Watt's still in the conversation potentially for defensive player of the year. He's going to have to really come alive in these final 3 games. We'll see what happens with Myles Garrett tonight. You know,
Right.
going to be an interesting matchup if Myles Garrett has a big game against the Ravens tonight. I don't know if what I don't know if there's going to be enough synergy there. I don't know. Obviously, Watt's still in it, but as far as postseason awards go, I think Watt's the only one in the running for something right now.
So comeback player thinks going Alex Smith.
Yeah, I think so. I don't see how it doesn't. To be honest with you.
Is that who you would give the award to? Or do you think from the sentimental, obviously the comeback Smith had was pretty spectacular?
I think that's the political correct thing to do.
Yeah.
Do I think it's right? No.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he got a big win. Look, the Washington's right in the thick of things, and I know Alex Smith got injured. I don't know the severity. I haven't seen the severity of the injury of Alex Smith had yesterday or whatnot. But if Washington makes the playoffs and he's the quarterback, I don't see how he doesn't get it. To be honest with you.
That's fair. Last question here, the live stream from Saloon. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your last name. Great work, guys. Thank you. What are the positive points you saw in this game? How would you rank overall the Steelers in your power rankings? Cam Hayward played a good game. I was happy with Avery Williamson. Marcus Allen did okay. And this team's 11-2. You know, they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to have their chance to right the ship. And you know, you get one good playoff game, then you're kind of feeling good about yourself and correcting things. So they have time to figure this stuff out. They are 11-2. The Bengals are on deck. Hopefully, you beat them and you go to 12-2. Then you're feeling, you know, you're going to feel like you're in a much better place.
Red zone 2 for 2. That's the positive.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, which is good because they were 2-7 against Baltimore and Washington, so at least they finished drives, and so that was the one positive thing. All right, that'll do it.
And I guess Boswell being back and making an extra point, right?
Yeah, we're really scratching the bottom of the barrel right now. All right, on that note, let's go ahead and wrap up today's stream. Thank you guys so much for being here. Really appreciate it. I guess we won't be here next Monday either because the Steelers play the Bengals on Monday night, so we will not be back next Monday, but 2 Mondays from now, we will be back for the Steelers Depot live stream. Dave Bryant, as always, thank you for being here, hanging out with us.
Thank you for doing this, Alex. It's nice to sit back and relax a little bit on these things. There, appreciate all you do.
Yeah.
Appreciate everybody for coming in the chat too. Peace and love to everybody. Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys. Enjoy the game tonight. Go Ravens, I guess. As weird as that is to say, go Ravens. And we will talk to you guys next week. Thank you so much for being here.